Hello, welcome to my channel, Wing Spiritual Clarity. My name's Wendy Wing. I'm doing a psychic tarot reading for you, tuning into the day's energies, seeing what divine messages of guidance come through. This is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest. All right, what's the overall energy of today's reading? Thank you. Thank you. Outcome and advice. Thank you. All right. There's a lot in what's hidden. All right. The overall energy of today's reading is the Two of Wands. Reimagining yourself in your life. The story of the Two of Wands is the person has lived life, gotten back home, and has this belief that they've seen everything. I've had a little bit of that going on. I've already experienced that. I don't need to go do that. I've already had that experience. Kind of limited. And so there's a need to reimagine self and life, that there are experiences out there. Sometimes when I'm stuck in Two of Wands energy, that I'm not taking action, not getting back out there in that world, it's a failure of imagination that's keeping me stuck in the past, in thinking that I'm just going to repeat the past, that I've already had those experiences. Love the imagery here. A lot of Egyptian energy, the Ankh, sanctuary, and then the moon phases and the pyramid. There's something about the stability that an old belief system you might think gives you. If you already know everything, if you've already seen everything, then you don't have to face uncertainty and trying something new. And so really, oh wow, calling myself out here after just admitting there's a failure of imagination, a failure of seeing anything new, anything different. It's just this belief that you're just going to keep running into the same energies. Interesting. And then with the moon, it feels like there's this possibility of change, of shifting that. So what does the viewer need to know about the Two of Wands? What would be helpful for the viewer? Thank you. Death card reverse, Three of Pentacles. That's what I was saying with the Death card reverse, kind of repeating, unending, feeling like something isn't over, like you can't let go of the past. Three of Pentacles. Putting the work in, collaborating, needing to shine. I get the feeling what I'm perceiving here is a belief that you might be working on in your space, in your energy. Working a picture, a belief around the people in your environment. It feels like there's a belief system that it's hard for you, like a story, a belief system around people. That you don't work well with people. So it feels like you might have had some issues with other people, collaborating, working well with others. And it feels like that belief, that story, whatever that story is. So that story can be, these kids these days, this group, whatever this group is that I've got a problem with, is keeping you stuck. This also could be like women. Women are all like this. Men are all like the blah, blah, blah. There's a story that it feels like you have that is keeping you limited. So this universe, this space that we're in, you don't get what you want, you get what you believe. And so if you've got a belief, the universe is so cooperative. It's a creative space. And so if you've got a belief that all are this way, then the universe is like, excellent, that's your belief. Let's give you more and more of those situations to prove your point, to prove that that's true, because that's what you're focused on. That's what you say. Your reality is, universe is like so incredibly cooperative that they send you more and more of those type of people to validate your beliefs. So if you don't like that belief, if it's getting in the way of the reality that you would prefer, the life you would prefer to have, then you got to change your belief. It's not I'll believe it when I see it. It's I believe it so I can see it. All right. Temperance. It looks like it's going to take some time to alchemize, to shift that story, to rebalance into something that you prefer, a belief that you do prefer. People are kind. I enjoy working with people. But if it's not true, then you're going to feel the falseness in your energy. It feels like you might have a momentum in that story, a lot of momentum. And so it might take a while to change that belief. So you can change it within you, and despite what you're seeing. And it might take a while before that belief is cleared from your space so you can see something, someone differently. Any tips on alchemizing? 5 of Wands reverse, 4 of Pentacles, King of Pentacles. This is talking more about, there's a need to just let that go, to stop pushing when that belief comes up, when it's activated in your space. Those people, they suck, and you don't like it, and you do want to change that belief. There's a need to stop talking about it, stop thinking about it in that same way, stop giving it more of your energy, right? You have to let it die down. I've had some beliefs that were so strong in my space for so long, and it took a while. It took a while for that momentum. So if you've got a belief that's like a cruise liner, a ship going, cruising along, those huge cruise liners on the ocean, you can't make a sudden turn and change. And a lot of beliefs that have a lot of momentum behind them, it takes a while to slow the belief down, slow the momentum down, and then turn around in the direction that you prefer. People are case by case. Nobody is this, nobody is that. I'm looking forward to meeting people who are wonderful, that are unexpected experiences. And then it takes a while to get that momentum back in the direction that you prefer. But first, there's a need to let go of that old belief. Well, I've got this and this and this. Yes, right. Because the universe is cooperative and keeps sending you more beliefs, more thoughts. that are similar. And the longer you've been in that belief, the more momentum you have and the more evidence you have to prove your reality. But it doesn't, if you don't like that belief and you want to change it, feels like someone who's conscious about and recognizing that their beliefs are keeping them from the life that they prefer, then there's a need to let go of those old beliefs. Some of them might be handed down, might have been unexamined, maybe a tradition. There's a stubbornness in this King of Pentacles. Well, I see it. There's a bullheadedness that it feels like, I mean, only you know how to work with you, right? How to shift your beliefs. And so maybe curiosity. Let's see what's hidden to see if we can soften the belief, the story around other people and alchemize it into something that is something more that would be helpful. All right, in what's hidden, we've got the Nurturer of Wands in reverse. The High Priestess. Ace of Cups. The Star reversed. And Liberation. Oh, I love this. That looks like Judgment. All right. All right. So Queen of Wands in reverse. Someone's jealous, envious. Someone who feels like they're focused on others more than themselves. Feels like their focus on others is blocking them from taking care of their own business, their own energy. High Priestess, Ace of Cups. Who's in this Nurturer of Wands, Queen of Wands in reverse energy? Someone manipulative, King of Swords in reverse, coming out as a challenge to that energy. Feels like there's been a negative mindset that's keeping this Queen of Wands envious of others, focused on others. It feels like it's blame and not taking action. It's feeling stuck, feeling like nothing sticks, nothing works. Ooh, there's it makes work challenging to this energy to just get to work because of some negative mindset, some beliefs. It feels like this could be your energy viewer that is a challenge to, it looks like a failure of imagination, focusing on what others are doing, feeling like you can't take action, feeling real stuck, like it's hard to, it's vibration first. And so if you're stuck in an old mindset, then it's vibration first. And so it feels like there's a need to shift your vibration instead of keep trying to take action. Because what I'm seeing is like, without changing the underlying belief systems that are keeping you stuck, then nothing works, and kind of more proof that something's going wrong. But it's really your belief system, something that you can control, that you can shift if you have the patience to clear those beliefs, those limiting beliefs. It feels like these limiting beliefs might be affecting Also, this negative, like, view, like painting everything negatively and making it hard to take action and just get to work. It feels like the belief systems are at the root, is what I'm getting. High priestess. It looks like whoever I'm talking with, you're very intuitive. There's wisdom here. Moon energy. Ooh, lot of there's something about the high priestess. Usually we've got like a pillar that's dark and a pillar that's light, and that the high priestess is in between those pillars, and no roof over her head, so there's unlimited potential. I think you've got unlimited potential as a being. You can vibrate at your authentic frequency. That's unique to you. You're the only one that has that frequency. And what happens is your belief systems, when you're vibrating, when you're flowing energy, that energy flows through your belief systems. And so if you have belief systems that you don't like, that are keeping you stuck, it's not about doing a lot of work out here so you can change in here. It's about doing the change in here, shifting your vibration so you can have a different experience in your 3D. It looks like you're very intuitive, and that's helping you. Also, what's helping you is Ace of Cups, self-love, learning how to love yourself, learning how to love all parts of yourself. Self-love, in the past, I thought that was just like giving in and giving myself things to make me comfortable, to make me happy. It was kind of more of a vapid way, a vapid understanding of what love is. When I learn, and I'm still learning how to love myself, loving myself means facing my fears. Loving myself means creating and maintaining healthy boundaries. Loving myself means caring for all parts of myself. Loving my physical body, my mental body, my emotional body. Loving my fireness, loving my shadow and my light. Loving the parts of me that I have been told and I believe are unlovable. Not cutting off and separating parts of myself that others do not like or I do not like, but loving all parts of myself, accepting all parts of myself. All right. And I have learned, by learning how to love myself, take care of myself, then it has been a beautiful way for me then to learn how to love others in a more profound way and not in a shallow way. Not just how others make me feel, but recognizing their shadows and learning how to forgive myself. I forgive myself for attracting people that I do not prefer. I forgive myself for not understanding what this space is about. I forgive myself for choosing and creating connections and relationships that were very unsatisfying, that were hurtful to me. And forgiving myself for staying and choosing relationships. I forgive myself for chasing after people, trying to convince them of my story and who I am. There's a lot. Once you start forgiving yourself, learning how to let go, learning how to process through your emotions, feels like there's a lot in that act of self-love, like starting here. The more you can own and accept about yourself, then the more you can see people as in their entirety and care for others. All right. And then we've got the Star reversed and Judgment. A hopeless energy, hopelessness, despair. I'm almost getting a pattern here. Something arises in your energy, makes it difficult for you to make moves to work. It has you kind of in your beliefs, negative beliefs. You figure those beliefs out, you find them, and you love them, you understand them, you process through those emotions. Feels like deep. A lot of hopelessness and despair. Stuck in lesson. A lot of times the star card has a star above, that one big dream, one big, your North Star. And I think in reverse, what I'm getting is South Nodes being stuck in lesson. You might have been stuck in lesson for a long time in your life, thinking that the space was what other people told you and that it wasn't creative, that there was a lot of judgment and you had to do things in a certain way. And so it created a lot of judgment within you, judging yourself, judging others, critical, being you have to do it this way or you're wrong or you're bad. And it might have that judgment. Do you find yourself judging, criticizing, trying to feel better through your judgment? Well, at least I don't do that. Well, I'm better than that. Like judgment. It feels like might be that activity. If you're constantly thinking about it, constantly talking about, well, at least we're better than them. It feels like that's creating the desperation and the hopelessness in that activity, in just chronic judgment. It looks like you might be healing that judgment, that activity of criticizing others, criticizing yourself, needing to take your power back, feel more powerful, feel better than others. And it feels like that chronically over time creates a lot of bitterness, a lot of disempowerment, which now makes sense with the Queen of Wands in reverse. Jealous of others, envious of others, or judgmental of others, negatively viewing others. All right, any help? Help. Yeah, Page of Cups reverse, 9 of Cups and King of Wands. There's been an emotional immaturity. And I'm not trying to call you out. I was raised by emotionally immature people. Very emotionally immature, emotionally manipulative. And by growing up in that environment, also with someone very critical and judgmental, and I absorbed that activity. And so I think recognizing this, loving those parts of you that were immature. I think people mistake when love means inclusion. Love is the energy of this time-space reality. It's the creative energy. And the opposite of love is fear. And what I'm getting here is by understanding your emotions, by loving those parts of yourself that you feel are unlovable. It doesn't mean that what you did and what you said is fantastic, that you would do it again. But when you learn to love those parts, and it's a learning, it's not, it takes time, right? To reimagine yourself, to alchemize, to love all parts of yourself. Then it looks like you can take action from that space, being in alignment and blessings coming in. It feels like there's a shift that can happen here. A lot of blessings, a lot of turnaround, expansion, awakening, recognizing. What's also really wonderful on the other side of these type of lessons is the expansion, a greater understanding, seeing things from a whole different vantage point, much bigger view, worldview. All right, let's move on to the outcome and advice. We have strength in reverse. All right, Leo energy. So there's Temperance and Leo, Queen of Wands in reverse. And Two of Wands is the overall energy. It feels like fire, your passion can help burn through and clear these limiting beliefs. In the original image of the Strength card, the gal has her hand in the lion's mouth. It's a display of strength because she's learned how to meet her inner demons, her belief systems, reactivity, her emotions, her fiery emotions. She understands them, and she understands herself. And so she's conquered her inner demons. It feels like with the Strength card in reverse, ooh, Two of Cups reverse, Chariot reverse, Six of Wands, Seven of Cups. This feels like you've attracted others, maybe partnerships, relationships that didn't go the way that you expected because of not being able to process, be able to hold your emotions. It feels like when I see strength in reverse, it feels like insecurity. This creates insecurity in relationships because you're looking to the other person to somehow fix, to somehow prove you differently, to change your beliefs. It feels like there's been a lot of feeling insecure with others, in close relationships with others. It feels like they haven't gone the way you expected, the way you wanted them to go because of these belief systems. And so what I'm seeing is there's a need to shift the belief systems before you take action. It's vibration frequency first and then. And so if you've got, it feels like this might be another belief system or kind of similar or adjacent to the negative, like all people are. And now this is about closest relationships that have not had success. Okay, there we go. Feels like you've been attracting your mirror, what you've needed to see. You've been attracting maybe not what you prefer, but an accurate reflection. Something in the closest relationships, whether that's friends, one-on-one, romantic relationships, I'm seeing a lack of success because of those belief systems. Maybe relying on the other person to change your mind instead of your belief systems changing and then allowing different people to come in. All right. It looks like there's success. There's a potential for success, but with option 7 of Cups, you might be unconsciously choosing what feels familiar, what and attracting and choosing some same, because it feels comfortable, even though it's disappointing, even though it doesn't go anywhere. There's something about facing your fears, going into uncomfortable spaces. I mean, after you heal your energy, new type, relating in a new way, choosing different people. It looks like with the Empress coming out that you're attractive, that you can shift your story, learn a new way, perceive a different way. It takes time. Stay balanced in your thoughts. And I'm seeing kind of getting out of that comfort zone relationship, your type, whatever that usual type is. If that usual type, if you're not liking it, if it doesn't, it looks like you might be attracting a mirror, someone who has the same issues as you do, that are, or something very similar, or the other side of the coin. And it feels like it's a comfort zone. It feels easier to stay in that disappointment of everyone else, and they suck, oh, there we go. Everyone else sucks, it's not me. And that might be a comfort zone. Instead of facing your fears, instead of going within and being willing to change your belief systems and trying something different. It feels like it's a comfort zone belief. It's easier just to believe that everybody sucks and I'm fantastic. Because then I don't have to look at where I've been the problem, where I've been the villain, where I've made mistakes, where I totally had it wrong. It feels like there might be some ego, some shame and guilt, instead of trying to be perfect. What is that even? But learning how to be real, like a velveteen rabbit, be real. Clearing that shame and guilt so you can actually see yourself clearly and address issues. At some point, I had to recognize when I had so many relationships that were not working out, friendships, relationships, family, everything. And I was like, all right, the common denominator's me. And it doesn't mean that they're right, I'm wrong. I'm right, they're wrong. It's not about right or wrong. It's about figuring out what's at the root of this, because I want relationships and I want to be happy and I want to be a cooperative component in relationships. And so my willingness to look at under the rocks, look on all the places that I've hidden shame, afraid of, embarrassed by my behavior, and be willing to see that, see how my words, my actions have impacted others. Not as guilt, create more guilt and shame, but just to see myself clearly. And if I don't like what I see, then change that instead of blaming others. So I'm going to stop the reading there. That feels good. I hope that's helpful. Take care.